uncovering the light. Guess with solid minds, no tales of the strange. In Sasquatch Secrets, they'll begin to rearrange. Truth's the vibe, we're on a quest. Look beyond the trees, what do you see? Factual stories redefining history. No myths, no magic, let's break the mold. With every word spoken, the wonders unfold. Footprints in the snow, not just a myth. Data and research, let's sift through the pith. Tales of a creature, but science leads the way. Nikki's quest for knowledge, come join
And hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Sasquatch Secrets. I'm your host, Nikki Colon, and welcome to this kind of chilly Sunday, actually. It's been kind of rainy outside. You know, we had the Southwest been hit with a lot of rain and a couple storms coming in from the Gulf and down, Pacific way, like 3 hurricanes or something, or tropical storms. So a lot of flooding in the Southwest right now. Colorado, Arizona, Flagstaff's even gotten flooding. So a lot of prayers going out to anybody dealing with inclement weather. Because I think even South Carolina was flooding. So it's happening all over. But I'm glad to see everybody here. Some of the great faces. There's Robert Duvin and Henry and Jen. Thank you guys for coming out. Danny was in a little bit earlier. He said he'll have to watch on the replay, and that's all good. But thank you guys. Looks like the numbers are going up right now. But so today, I thought I would talk about something that I kind of saw going on earlier, and it was the whole idea of Bigfoot gossip and rumors. And with the main question that I wanted to get at, which was, why do some rumors spread like wildfire? You know, they just take off, and then the real reports just go ignored. So that's kind of like the basis of what I wanted to kind of chat about today. And I pulled a bunch of examples that we could discuss. And I do actually have somebody in the back. And I'm going to go ahead and bring him on.
Oh, is it what do you see as you twist it out?
Jonathan, Sasquatch Wizard, is with me today. How are you doing?
No, I'm doing fantastic, Nikki.
Jonathan on the road.
Yeah. How you doing?
Yeah. I'm doing good. Thanks for coming and chatting with me today about this. And he's on his way home. Just stay safe and keep your eye on the road.
Got her all under control.
And he'll be good.
I tried to help out and brighten things up a little bit, so I took my headlamp, stuck it in the dash, but I turned that bright white light on, and I can't even see the road. So sorry if I look like the Incredible Hulk right now.
Yeah, you're a little green. Hey, you go for it's perfect for October. So yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Halloween going on here.
Hulk Jonathan. Hulk Jonathan. That's a good one. So that's what we're gonna do. I invited Tate to come along too, so we'll see if he shows up after his dinner or whatever he's doing right now. And anybody else out there want to come on, and I know who you are, I'll shoot you a link, and you guys are welcome to come and join us in this talk. So I'm gonna move us around a little bit. Let's do this one. And then I'll put this up. This one better. Okay. Oh, I made him. There he goes. This whole idea of rumors and what happens. So one of the stories that I came upon was this Lemon Grove Rod and Gun Club in San Diego recently had a supposed sighting, a Bigfoot sighting. But there wasn't a whole lot of information put out onto the post, because it was kind of like the same posts everywhere. What you're seeing is one of the posts that I found. Okay. And it's like, whoa, San Diego, that's kind of different. I wonder how many Bigfoot sightings they get. I didn't know. So that's where it led me to start researching a little bit into where this Lemon Grove Rod and Gun Club was. Well, so there was no credible or documented evidence of any recent sightings at the Lemon Grove. And the club is actually located in Alpine and not actually in Lemon Grove. So that was something weird. And recent news reports and official sighting databases didn't corroborate the whole claim. Okay, there was nothing that I could find about that. So here's kind of what is known about the Bigfoot sightings in the general area, is that there have only been recent California sightings. Was the most notable one was recorded, of course, by the BFRO in September of 2024. And there wasn't any near San Diego itself. But there were a lot of other, there was one called the Proctor Valley Monster. And that was a long-standing San Diego area legend about this Proctor Valley Monster. So when I started looking that up a little bit, it was revealed that happened to be an elaborate April Fool's Day hoax back in 1968. It was a long time ago. And later sightings were linked to the local monster. And some monster hunters, I guess, in the area, were just trying to cause trouble and revive that old hoax, and it wasn't real. But the mention of Bigfoot in that area has had a little bit of folklore, which was due to a supposed sighting in 1990 near some apple trees there in the area. But social media posts and some, had made these broad claims about Bigfoot in that San Diego area, and it just went viral. I mean, it got a lot of hits. So the more I dug into this Rod and Gun Club, the Lemon Grove Rod and Gun Club, right? I'm like, well, it looks, it's a legit place. And I started scrolling down into, the site. Well, guess what I found?
Uh-oh.
A big old Bigfoot that they use for their archery hunting out there for their as target.
Oh,
so,
boy.
The whole thing was just meant as a publicity stunt, to gain people to go out to their club.
Sure.
And he didn't lie. There was a Bigfoot sighted there. He
wasn't bullshitting anybody. Real.
But it's so easy for this to happen, because when you go down and you look at the comments underneath these posts, so many people just believe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I saw one back there back then. And that's, what did it look like? What color was it? They're asking these questions like it was real.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I
No,
was like, man, that happens so much.
no. Well, it begs the question, who's the fault? The original people may not have put that all together to actually cause trouble and hoax people and, try to make a claim to fame. But the
Right.
individuals, like you say, that, take that out of context and run with it and then start spreading it all over the internet as it's, has validity. It's, they're the ones to blame.
Yeah. And their intention may not have been to fool the Bigfoot community. They were just trying to drive their sales. They were trying to
Right.
be
Yeah.
catchy. They were trying to get people to come and see their place.
Yeah.
And if you did go to the site, boom, there it is. Oh, there's the Bigfoot, and then it
Sure.
all makes sense. But in our community, something like that gets posted and we take it seriously because, we're made up of half the people are knowers because they have had some type of experience or have seen something themselves. And, so it's like, yep, it's a Bigfoot, they're out there, they exist. And then the other half may not have seen a Bigfoot, but they believe because they've got, they know people who have had encounters, they believe them, they trust them, they know they have high credibility. And that's, also gives that stuff a leg up. It keeps those type of posts going, and then they get shared over and over and over. But it didn't take me that long to find out about, well, just my curiosity about San Diego in itself. Oh, I never heard of any Bigfoot in San Diego. Let me look and see, how many
Yeah.
Bigfoot have been in this area. And let me check out where this Rod and Gun Club is and to find the answer,
Yeah.
and what it was. So I think that's just where a lot of people falter or stop, looking
Sure.
for truth.
They're just
So,
there to quench their appetite for fresh Bigfoot news. And they're
right,
not like the minority of us that actually want to find a real answer to the situation. First one being, is this real? Is there any, uh, you know, real content here? Or is this just an advertisement, quick set for a movie,
right.
or some college play?
You're right.
And they pick it up and then share it. And usually,
Oops.
majority of people will add a little bit to it, and they'll sprinkle their own twist to it. And before you know it, as it cycles through 4 or 5 different sets of people, it becomes a real Bigfoot. And they add more and more and more to it. So it sounds more and more exciting. And next thing you know, you have a Class A sighting. Somebody's camp was terrorized. I mean,
Right.
it runs rampant. They
It
don't
sure
do
does.
what you did. For you asked a question. I want to know, is there any validity to this? And then you searched for
Right.
the answers. They just drank the Kool-Aid and ran with it.
And that's exactly. And that's easy to do. I can see how people do that, and how they want it to be Bigfoot so bad. You know, there are people
Yeah.
who are looking for anything to point them in the direction of that's real, it's very inherent in these in individuals who aren't really about the research. They just love the stories, and that's a story, and they can grab onto it and just run with it. And a lot of the times they believe everything. You know, it's just they can't disseminate between what could possibly be a hoax or just not the truth, or for whatever reason.
Yeah, they're
But
not
it
wired that
didn't.
way. They're not wired to look for those things. They don't even care about that. They're in it for the
Exactly.
entertainment.
Right. And I can tell you that my family, my extended family, they send me clippings all the time. They shoot me, this is Bigfoot or that one. Have you seen this? And I'm like, yes. And then I have to explain to them, we discovered that about 5 years ago. And
Mm-hmm.
I always, well, we're never going to send you anything. I go, well, you don't have to, because I'm sure I've already seen it. Um, Appreciate that they're excited that I'm into the
Sure.
subject,
Yeah,
but
absolutely. You
there's
never know when they send you something new. So,
exactly, that is the case. There could be
yeah,
something where I'm like, whoa, I never seen that one.
exactly. And it's
What
just
is
like
it? And
science.
then
I mean, a lot of it's boring and repetition, and it's not all so colorful. But every now and then you come across a gem, and it's worth taking a look at. So you kind of got
it
to leave
is.
that door open, even though it's
Yeah,
frustrating and seems like
I
it drags you along. Yeah,
I do.
you sure
So
do,
that's
Nikki.
that's what happens, and I have some, when I do have the time and I'm able to research some of this stuff and I find the answers. That's what I'm here about, to share that with you guys, so you don't have to do all that. But it also helps some people, like, who need that proof, because you
Hmm.
really run into that on social media, especially when I can't just go and say, oh, that's, the, I don't know, the Sean, uh what am I thinking of? If I have the answer and I tell them, they just don't want that. They want to see visual proof that of what I'm saying. So I
Yeah,
have to go and
eye
find the
candy.
Bigfoot without the head on, or posted with somebody else and the whole backstory and everything. They just don't want. They
Hmm.
can't take you at your word. They want to see physical proof that what you're saying is not the creature in the giant sequoias, the Sean Bannon, student film, and they want that proof. So you have to go through all that, and because those are things that come up every year, all the time, over and over.
Hmm. And it comes full circle with the topic of your show too, Nikki, because once that stuff goes out and starts circulating, you have different levels of individuals coming into this. You have your entry level, where their
Right.
jaw is just in their lap, slurping up everything that they look at, and then up the ladder of experience in the subject, you get up
Mm-hmm.
into that area where you want to be serious, but you don't really have the tools to know the difference between right or wrong yet. You haven't come across channels like yourself or Steve Calls and Thomas Steenberg, the Buckwaz crew, and down the line, uh, people that analyze the video evidence, photographic evidence, newspaper clippings, like Eric. I mean, he's out there pulling FOIA requests and really digging deep, trying to find the truth. And so you take all that information and you get it to some individuals that are kind of in the middle, and then they share that out because their interpretation of it and their inexperience of their lack of experience of vetting something, they get to a certain point where they're like, you know what, that's real. that's real. Now they start to share that out as, hey, I just come across this. This is real. Or it came from a buddy of mine, and he was in law enforcement, and well, because he's in law enforcement, and he said, hey, I think this is real. I guess it's real. Well,
Yeah.
that's where then other people may get very upset about that, because they're spewing a bunch of garbage that hasn't been really truly vetted, and maybe they already vetted it and knew the truth. And so then they start letting everybody know, hey, be careful of that guy or that gal, because they're just putting out anything or stuff that's half vetted, and they're part of the problem. And that's kind of like a rumor. You're labeling that person as, hey, be careful of that person, when that person may have had all the right intentions, but just didn't have the experience to come up with the correct conclusion.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's like the old saying, shit runs downhill. And it can happen.
Yeah, it really does. And like you said, that rumor mill just goes on and perpetuates and gains traction. And before you know it, 10 or 15 Bigfoot social media, they all have the same post,
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, do I go to each one and tell them each group?
Yeah.
No, this is this,
Yeah.
and it happens because newbies see it and they are excited.
Yeah.
They're excited for that. They've never seen it. They want to believe it. So they pass it on. Have you seen this? Have you seen this? This is a real Bigfoot,
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. Maybe I just like to burst their bubble. I don't know. But it happens a
Sometimes the
lot.
truth hurts.
Yeah,
Sometimes the
that
truth
is
hurts.
very true. And so that's what we have going on here, is a lot of it could be innocent, very innocent, like this was. I didn't feel like this was a master hoaxer coming after the community. It was just a nice group that was playing around with Bigfoot. Because remember, we're a small part of the community. The rest of the people out there think we're loony, and that there's no such thing as Bigfoot. So that's how I took it. I wasn't upset or mad. I was just, oh, there it is. That's what they mean.
Yeah.
It all makes sense. But it happens over and over, and in different ways, different kind of circumstances. But the next one that I found, let me get over here, was the Deep Creek Lake in Maryland. Now, I saw this, it was just like Instagram, and it had this UFO thing going on, and then it says origins of Bigfoot. And I'm like, oh God, they're saying Bigfoot comes from aliens and all this stuff. And
Oh boy.
I was like, what is that all about? But the guy had like millions of hits off of this thing. So here I go again. I thought, well, I'm going to make this into a show.
Yeah.
So I did my deep dive into Deep Creek Lake, Maryland, and this rumor gone viral thing. So specific claims of a viral Bigfoot rumor at Deep Creek Lake are scarce. The area had been associated with Bigfoot sightings and hoaxes over the years, leading to posts and rumors on social media. The region of Western Maryland is known for a long history of folklore and reported Bigfoot activity. The recent social media buzz, this was in February of 2024. The Deep Creek Times posted a joke on Facebook. It even laid it out for me. It was a joke on Facebook about finding Bigfoot in the area, sharing an image of a person in a costume just days ago. And then just days ago, on October 7th of this year, 2025, An Instagram reel from a local business asked followers if they believed Bigfoot lives in Deep Creek Lake, indicating that the rumor is a current topic in local conversation there and is a recurring phenomena there. So these posts show that Bigfoot is a popular joke and legend frequently brought up in that Deep Creek Lake community, especially around, what are we in? Halloween season. Don't worry about Jonathan, guys. He probably just got home. When he gets home, he loses his signal and he'll be jumping on. He'll come right back when he's set up on his home computer. So that was part of my findings for this Deep Creek. If you look up Deep Creek Bigfoot, a number of images pop up, including some we know are from a movie. We know some are those plyboard, statue things. And so it just they take on a different meaning because they're not all associated with that. A Tic Tac thing from a military release. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. But still, I'm moving on, right? And let's check out and see what I can find about this area. So, according to the BFRO, a report from Swanton, which is near Deep Creek State Park. It's Deep Creek Lake State Park. And a couple years ago, November of 2022, a witness claimed to have heard a gut-bellowing howl, roar, and scream type of sound coming from the wooded ridge near their house. So the Deep Creek Lake creature, according to what's it called? Fandom Wiki, an urban legend, and it has now an amphibian creature from Deep Creek Lake. So there's not just Bigfoot, there's other things, other cryptids. And that had been circulating since the 1960s. So there has been these type of Maryland cryptid legends there, and that's one of them. The Deep Creek Lake story is part of a broader history of cryptids, legends there in that area, such as the Goat Man, right? We've all heard of that. The Snallygaster, which I am almost positive that our old friend Joe, Western New York Bigfoot, used to talk about the Snallygaster. Contributed to these type of culture, the culture of folklore, and it encourages new sightings in that area. And they go viral. People like those quick grab type of scenarios. But what drives the rumors? So viral content about Bigfoot is often fueled by a mix of genuine belief, misidentification, and intentional hoaxes. Yeah, it's just kind of unavoidable. Sorry. I was reading at the same time. Jen says, we did a few shows on lesser known possible cryptids from around the planet. Yeah, you did. So there can also be mischief and pranks, right? The use of Bigfoot costumes for pranks is so common now. And there's all kinds of examples of that everywhere, right? And especially on YouTube and in social media. And some of it's really playful in nature. It doesn't really hurt anybody. But like we talked about earlier, the believers and the newbies will take that and run with it. But they're rumors. They're still rumors. The general public's fascination with cryptozoology and the study of hidden animals ensure that any sighting, no matter how questionable, can gain traction online for sure. So platforms like Facebook and Instagram, they're ideal places for quickly sharing rumors and hoaxes. And posts are often used to they're provocative, they use them for images, to release images and encourage engagement and sharing, of course. And every time somebody shares, they put a different take on it, they put a different story on it, and that's how rumors go viral, which is the whole point of the show here, of talking about it. Now there's another one that I have here. Bill, if you want to jump on, you are welcome to come on. Just let me know and I will shoot you here. I guess I can just put it here. Let me grab the link. If you want to come and join, you are absolutely welcome to come on. I don't think Tate's going to be able to join us, and Brent never got back to me, so I don't know. So the next one I found, let me see what I got here. The mutilated elk in Pennsylvania bunker. So I included this one because what the rumor stated was that there was a mutilated elk found in a bunker and that it was could have been caused or done by a Bigfoot. Okay, that only a Bigfoot could have mutilated this elk. And you will actually, on the other side of the fence, there are also the UFO people who think, well, the aliens came and took out the eyeballs and precision mutilated, this elk. So there's kind of two sides to it, but the reports are mashed up from two. It turns out, okay, after I did a little more digging into this, that it was two unrelated events in the state. Okay, a case of an intentional, let me get this right. Let me pull my thing out. It said that a case of intentional elk killing in 2016 and an FBI excavation near an elk viewing area in 2018. The underground bunker refers to a Cold War military complex, but no elk were ever found there. So likely incidents behind the story are the 2016 Trexler Nature Preserve elk death. If you go and you're looking for the specifics of that elk death. An elk was found killed on a wild game preserve in eastern Pennsylvania, and authorities investigated it as a case of animal cruelty, but the animal was not found in or near the bunker, and the police did not disclose the manner of the death. So the other part of it was that in 2018, an FBI excavation took place and was conducted on a court-authorized excavation of Dents Run in Elk County, a well-known elk viewing area in north central Pennsylvania. The Bureau later released a statement saying that nothing was found on the search that could be connected to an ongoing investigation, but not revealing any further details. So a place called Raven Rock Mountain Complex. This is an underground military bunker near Pennsylvania border that was built during the Cold War and has been described as an underground Pentagon, but has no connection to the elk. So what you have, there he is.
Hey.
Hey. So what you have with this case is that you had 3 different things going on, and because of social media, people just put it all and mashed it all up into one case. The case of a mutilated elk, the nature preserves elk death, the FBI excavation in Dents Run, and then knowing that there was a military bunker in Pennsylvania, and they got all strewn all together. But it's a fictional story that it gained traction due to public interest in both FBI investigation and the presence of elk in Pennsylvania. So the phenomena of animal mutilation has existed for decades. You know, it often fuels conspiracy theories involving the UFOs and the cults and secret government projects. And these conspiracy theorists thrive on the unexplained nature of some animal deaths.
Yeah.
Which are often the result of just natural predation, you know, and scavengers and stuff. But that's how rumors get started. You know, one thing led to, oh, it's probably this, and oh, I heard the FBI was up there. They were probably up there by the military complex, and now it's all one big thing: mutilated elk in Pennsylvania bunker. So, and it was never that. So that's how these things can take a life of their own again.
Yeah, you just nailed it. They take a life of their own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's because of social media. It's completely, because it's easy. It's easy for us to, you know, say whatever we want, and most people won't get you on it. You know, they're not going to call you out about where was it, when was it, you know, or the time. Do the time and dates line up? You know, there were two years apart. The elk found dead was in 2016, and the excavation was in 2018, and then right after that, we already knew the complex was in the area. So it just, now it all happened at the same time. So kind of weird how that stuff, you know, takes its own way.
Yeah, it sure is. It happens with all sorts of subjects, like you were saying. It's not just Bigfoot, it's everything. People's uncontrollable desire for gory news, bad news is you know, they're nowhere near as thirsty for the truth or good news. I mean, bad news always sells better than good news. So scary, undiscovered, no answers, the mystery is so much more exciting than you know, the truth, the data, the facts. That's
right.
To most people boring. You know?
It can be boring. I mean, our investigations are boring. You know, our videos start looking exactly like the last video. It's just, that's, you know, how it is. Unless you are sensationalizing it and every little, oh, what's that? You know, or doing this.
Yeah.
Then it becomes really, and I can see how that can grab people to watch, but it's false, you know. And there's definitely some scary elements to walking around in the dark. Trust me, there definitely is that out there. But the majority of nothing's happened, you know. I had my incident where something walked up to the tent, you know, and it seemed bipedal, and then we found footprints the next morning. You know, you try to put 2 and 2 together, But did I see a Bigfoot there? No, I didn't. You know, did I know what I heard.
And
Jen
you
knows
have all
what I
that
heard.
information, and that's good information because you can just file that away. We all know it. You know, the people that know. And maybe somewhere down the road in a couple of years, somebody's going to have an incident that is parallel with yours. And then now you have, at that time, then you would have 2 instances where they hear cha. So that then becomes more intriguing to try to search for, well, what is making this noise or this sound, cha? And it might be as simple as somebody watching a documentary totally unrelated to Bigfoot, a wildlife biologist studying something, and then makes a statement where this biological creature or just simply some sort of I don't think it would be an insect, but something of
Yeah.
the sorts makes this sound cha. And maybe when he says it, it's just in general conversation. One of us is going to hear that and be like, Nikki,
Oh, wow.
look at this. We
Yeah.
have an answer for you. And that's what it's all about. You know, it's a question and remains a question until you have some answers to back it up and you know, be able to apply a causal agent to the sound. Until then, it will remain a question. What made
Exactly.
the sound? I am intrigued by that. I mean, I've thought about it many a times. I mean, I don't know of anything, even a regular animal, you know, the known animals. I can't think of any of them that would make a sound like that, even a coughing or I don't know. I just don't think of anything that would make a sound like that.
Yeah. No, I don't. I've gone through it many times. And even when I explain it, I 100% believed I was going to hear the snorts and sniffing and clawing of a bear. I thought it's got to be that. I'm going to hear the something of the sniffing type happening.
Mm-hmm.
There was not. There was none of that. It never touched my tent. It never clawed down at the bottom. It never smelled down by the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It leaned in. It leaned in towards the tent, never touching it.
Mm-hmm.
And it paused. It never. Well, it wasn't a fluid come down, chaw, and then leave. It stopped with intention. And that's what throws you off.
Yeah.
Is that, or threw me off and froze me, right where I was at. I was completely frozen.
Sure.
And feeling the presence of something coming towards the tent. And then there's that loud chaw coming out straight at me. And then it got up and it just walked back away. I don't know. I don't think a bear could do that. I don't think a deer could do that. I don't think a raccoon or a skunk were big enough because it was up higher.
Too far up. Okay.
And later I had heard a scurrying animal going by the tent, and it sounded exactly like that, like a little, running by. So validating, I know what, a little raccoon or a skunk's, and I think it was a skunk, went by. But those are the things, we want to keep hold of and keep that back there for if something does come up later.
Yeah, keep it on the back burner.
Yep, I can't prove it. All I can do is tell you about it. We had other people who experienced stuff that night. Jen, Dakota, and what we saw the next day. But those are the things, we can't prove. I can't prove it to you. I don't have video of it. I don't have
Mm-hmm.
a recording, although I was recording.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Speaking
could
of
hear
video,
things.
Nikki.
It didn't pick up, all the crazy, a lot of the stuff. Now Jen has taken her audios from that night and had them analyzed and hearing stuff, going on in that. But again, it's just what it is.
Yeah.
They're just sounds in the dark. And
speaking of recording, one of the things that I had thought of was, you guys had the riffraff that that Brent had to go down and confront at one time. And so I had thought to myself, all right, well, a person could make that sound. But when you think about it, why would they make that sound?
Yeah.
And why would they stand right there next to your tent? If they knew that you guys were Bigfoot, and they would have probably assumed these guys got cameras on the camp. So you're caught if you're going to go there and stand by that tent and make that noise. I mean, how do they know you wouldn't be just like, who the hell is that? And then open up the tent and pull your gun out and be like, better drag your ass. I mean, you got to have some gonads to stand behind somebody's tent and lean over towards it and make a sound like that.
And I don't know, I would think that some people would come and growl. They would make some kind of, sound.
Right.
If they were hoaxing me, that's not a sound I think they would use.
Right. It just doesn't.
It would just be, it would be a growl or a, something different other than a chaw.
Yeah.
Just I don't know. But
nice to have a trail camera on it and see what it was.
Yeah, too bad it was sitting on the table.
Yeah.
That night it was sitting. We had taken everything down, people.
Yeah. Plus you have to slow it down to nighttime, nocturnal animals. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you can shave off a bunch of the daytime animals. I don't know. I could never really come up with a solid answer.
No, and it's funny because Brent and Thomas Steenberg, who was also there, they won't comment on it. They if I talk about it, it's we were there. We experienced nothing, zero in the way of other than potential prints that were found. Jen found all these prints and Dakota found one nice big print when he first got there. So that was, the extent up until that night. And then Brent and Thomas left. And then that night around the fire, that we were hearing things. We were hearing growls and stuff that we had not heard all week. So things changed. Was it just happenstance that maybe they're coming through? Something was coming through. Was it they knew all the recorders were gone? The trail cameras were taken down.
The men are gone. The women are only there.
Well, we had Dakota, and
no, that's right. Okay,
Dakota, and we also had Jay was in his trailer.
Okay. I thought it was just you and Jen. My bad.
No, there was we were still there. There was still some of us there.
Okay.
And off further into a whole nother campground was Mike and his two girls. But it's weird how that happens. And had it been a bear, I think we would have had a holy hell of a mess in the morning.
Jen just brought up she has a comment, and to pick up a tote, slide it around, whoop, it jumped on the ground, and drop it. It does take hands. But I don't know, a bear could grab it by its teeth. pick up one end of it, slide it a little bit. But like you say, if it was a bear, they don't always make, sounds where you could identify it, but a lot of times they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think we would have heard it snorting, and making or sniffing the tent. I just think that we would have heard that had that been a bear.
Well, I'll tell you, we were over in Western New York just a week ago, and the first morning I woke up and I slept on a cot outside, and I had my sleeping bag up over my head, and I had my hood over my head as well. Tried to stay warm in there. It got a little cool that night. And at the crack of dawn, I, woke up to sniffing. I mean, right on my face. I was like, oh boy, I'm thinking, all right, my bear spray is right there underneath me. My knife is just down to the left, just a little bit. And I'm like, well, I got to see what this is. So I pulled the sleeping bag back just a little bit, and I see this white thing, and I pull it back a little more, and I see it's a beautiful dog. And I go, you got to go. And like every bit of skin on that dog's head just fell back, and he goes, like, I don't want to go. They were the two most adorable, cool dogs. They end up hanging out with us quite a while there too.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
Bill,
but still,
I just heard you.
Heard it. You heard the sniffs.
Oh, okay, there you are over there. There's so much on the screen. I'm like, I know, I just heard him.
You're just hearing voices.
Yeah, I heard you.
Paying no attention to the man in the dark.
Yeah.
Well, at least you're not green. Jonathan was green a little while ago, so
yeah. What is that light, Bill?
What's that?
What's that white light thing going up and down?
Oh, I'm in the rocking chair.
Oh, you're rocking. The lights in the back. I got you. Okay.
Yeah, it's reflection off my truck in the driveway. No, actually, I think it says doorknob.
Right on.
Maybe.
So how are you doing, Bill?
Okay, I'm hanging out there,
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Hanging in there? Yeah, hanging in there. I'll get it right. It's been a while.
So we're talking about rumors and how they get started and how they impact the community. And the last one on my list I have here is strange Bigfoot activity near the Olympic Peninsula in Washington. Now, that's pretty broad. It's a pretty broad statement to start looking at. But when you do that, all kinds of stuff comes up. Stuff from finding Bigfoot, stuff from the Olympic Peninsula. Alex Petikoff did some stuff there. The 2 men were found dead from exposure after looking for Sasquatch pops up. And remember when first... What's that?
That was the 2 men that were found dead from exposure. That was just last year, right?
Yeah. It was December of last year. But remember how that went through the community, and a lot of people immediately thought Bigfoot killed them while they were out there. That's what went into everybody's head when that first came out.
Very good example.
And, of course, that really wasn't, the case. They just died of exposure. They got caught in a freak last-minute storm that hit them. It probably disorientated them. They didn't walk out. They hunkered down and they passed.
Oh man,
yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, wasn't it even on? Was it Thanksgiving Day or Christmas Day? It was like on one of the
Christmas Eve, I thought.
Yeah, probably Christmas Eve.
What a way to
go. That's kind of devastating, but there's people who still want to get traction from the stories. So that's where the catchy phrases come in handy when you're titling your stories and stuff and kind of giving people their own way of thinking about what happened. You know, the Bigfoot killed them. They were out there looking for Bigfoot and it got them.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to wait for all the investigation to happen before the, you know, the real truth comes out. And I'm sure there's people still out there that are wanting to make Bigfoot the demon or Bigfoot the reason for the death.
Has anybody seen any videos that some of them folks make? Did anybody create a video and run with it being Bigfoot? Has anybody seen a video somebody's, you know, created on that? I haven't.
I haven't.
No.
I'm sure there probably is some out there.
Okay. So
look at that.
This recently came out as well. You know, this was just in the last couple months where there was a Bigfoot. This was in Olympic Peninsula. So said, you know, that this is where this was at.
Mm-hmm.
But it's super bad AI creation. Okay.
Oh boy.
If you look at the 3 photos, they're all different, a little bit different. You know, one of them has a line, the end of the side of the road line, and then the next picture doesn't have it in it. And hands are different places in the head. One head's kind of lifted up, and the next one it's squashed down. And there's supposed to be 3 of the same picture. So, you know, you really have to beware. Again, we do this warning about what's happening with AI because it is getting better and more clever, and we're going to start seeing this stuff, and we will be seeing this stuff. But in the Olympic Peninsula, there was always reports of Bigfoot related activity because it's one of the hot spots, right, of America.
Yeah.
So in 2025, there were eyewitness sightings, recorded vocalizations, the death of the 2 men, and the area has drawn paranormal investigators, enthusiasts, all who have documented these occurrences there. If you look at the pinned map of sightings, they're just up on top of each other, right, in that area. So I pulled a few of the eyewitness encounters, and yeah, we show several in April of 2025. You know, supposedly there is a clear video footage of what is claimed to be a Bigfoot emerging from the Olympic National Park and was posted to Facebook, and it gained thousands of views. But I don't know which one they're talking about because there was actually more than that. There was some, you know, that show a Bigfoot off in the woods kind of going back and forth, and it's a suit. It's one of the well-known suits that's sold on Amazon, as a matter of fact. I don't know if this one is talking about that one or something else because it happens so much. Another one, investigators from the television series Finding Bigfoot returned to the peninsula to investigate a sighting by one of their team members, prompted by reports of recent activity and recorded growls near Winoochee Valley.
Okay.
2020, July 2025, a trucker named Devin McCready reported hitting a gigantic hominoid figure on a logging road on the Olympic Peninsula. He claimed the creature was at least 8 feet tall and mangled after the impact.
Really? I've never heard of that.
I don't know.
Yeah. Never heard of that one.
Never heard of it. Never seen pictures.
Right.
Beyond the Trail, Bigfoot Beyond the Trail featured an investigation on the Olympic Peninsula, and that was Alex Petikoff's. He partnered up with Shane Corson of the Olympic Project and to look at the whole string actually of eyewitness accounts from that area. So now I need to go look at that.
Yeah.
Let's see what else I got here. I got fatalities and deaths. I didn't look into this one too much, but I printed it out anyway. So, February 2025 on YouTube, a report circulated about two Oregon men. Oh, that's the one we just did. Sorry, that's the one we just did. December 2024, a similar incident was reported by NPR concerning two men who died of exposure while looking for Sasquatch. This was a year prior. So there's two that almost sound exactly the same.
Huh.
And then January of 2025,
Bigfoot serial killer.
Facebook confirmed that Sasquatch is alive and well on the Olympic Peninsula. That's all it says on the Bigfoot Expedition fan page.
Mm-hmm.
And then in July 2025, BFRO scheduled an expedition for the summer in Washington Cascades. I think that's the one where they're talking about Bumpin' Lake, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Hotspot, because it just talks about a hotspot, provides an ideal setting for the types of cryptid reports. And it's a great, that area is just ready for these type of stories. I don't know.
That's not where we was at, right, John?
No, it's over where Tristan Yolton and his mom had I'm sorry, Tristan Yolton and his mom got that recording with the peanut butter jar near their home, if I am accurate. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure. But I know that Tristan Yolton frequents Bumping Lake.
Yeah,
I hear him talk of that place quite frequently. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. We'll do that one later. So part of this whole rumor mill that happens is that Facebook blows up with the researchers and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And there is blatant dishonesty. And we've seen that many, many times. Rick Dyer, with the Georgia Bigfoot hoax. Recently with the New York State Fair hoax. If you guys watch Squatch DTV, Steve, had pictures of that. I showed it as well. The guy had another body there, just like Rick Dyer, just to bring people in, When
was that? Was that just recently?
Do I have? Let me see if
that's about a month ago. Coles went there, John.
Okay.
This guy
okay.
This guy right here. With his,
okay, that's right. Okay. All right. I've never seen that picture before.
Monkey Man or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it was more for humor from the sounds of it than anything else.
Right on.
Yeah. It turned out not to, just for fun, and nothing really came of it. But yeah, he's saying he's got the Bigfoot, and then it's not anything. And then the most recent big one that's kind of exploded this year was the whole Mike Patterson Sasquatch Ontario with Nefertiti's head, and Brian King Sharp coming forward, finding the mask that was used to try to fool people. Mm-hmm. Did I say? I didn't say that when I took it off.
Yeah, Brian did a good job with putting the pieces of the puzzle together on that one. Even with the pretty sure that he used a black Sharpie marker to color that mask in to get that get that color and that sheen to
it. So we're really familiar with this type of stuff that goes on. Now, more the science side, we're the ones who want the truth. We want to know what's really going on, and we do not believe everything that's just handed to us the majority of the time. We know history. We know, okay, Ray Wallace had the wooden feet, and he coined the term Bigfoot, and he did this and that, but we know We know that there's already a history of people who take advantage of the newbies, take advantage of wanting to be famous or popular, and try to make financial gains from this type of stuff. So we know that. And there's always going to be the controversies. There's also always going to be the P&G film will always hold two sides of the coin, that, real or not real. And it's okay. It's okay that we have those two sides, because that will live on that way forever. So does sensational one moment.
That was a good sound bite.
I was gonna leave without me opening.
There was a mouth pop. I heard a mouth pop.
I know. I was just thinking that too. Yeah, we should record that and use it out in the woods. See if you can call in Betsy Sasquatch.
That was funny. It made me lose where I was. So, does sensationalism hurt the research? Hurt real research?
Absolutely.
I don't know. I think that's debatable myself, but
so debate. Tell me, why does it not?
I think the more people you get out there, the more likeliness that you're going to have of finding something. Right now, we got a whole lot of nothing. So if it brings people to the table and it gets the table out in the yard, a little bit's not bad, but too much of anything is bad. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
I understand that, and I think from my perspective, I guess what comes to mind first for me is that I wouldn't want a wildlife biologist who has been on the fence about looking into the subject on a Sunday afternoon, nobody around. Well, why don't I go ahead online and take a look at a little bit of what's going on here and see what's happening, to come across the sensationalism? Because if he does, then surely he is going to just be like, oh my God, never mind, and maybe possibly turn and walk away. And that's just one perspective. I respect your perspective, Bill, obviously. And I mean, there's pros and cons to all of it, but I think that's what comes to mind for me first.
Yeah, see, I kind of look at it from my perspective, from a hunting perspective. You look at somebody, you're watching somebody on TV, and you might have the right person say, hey, I can do that, but I can do better. And that's the kind of thing, if you get the right person that can do better out there, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, I'm really good at hunting. I suck at making documentaries, but I don't have the equipment for that kind of thing. I don't, don't really believe in sensationalizing, but just so I, say how I feel. But I do believe that if you can get more people out in the woods looking, maybe that can help. I don't know.
Right.
It's been a big mystery.
It's an entry level, attractant, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just discovering Bigfoot, the sensationalism is really what piques their interest as they're drinking the Kool-Aid.
And I think it's also a test of the researcher to be able to go out there and, be able to define, this is suspect, that's people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if I got somebody out there in the woods, I want somebody who's out there looking, that irregardless of whether they were brought in by sensationalism or not, that, that person, like you, John, you're great at it. Quite a few people are great at it. We're able to distinct that suspect, but that's more likely human or made by this, made by that. So, what hurts you is when you get people that run out there and every knock or every tree bump or every tree expansion or you name it is, a sign of Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Those are the people that hurt you, but I do want to track the quality.
And if those people could just be taught the proper way to speak of what it is that they're hearing, I don't think a wildlife biologist would snub his nose up and say this is just friggin' ridiculous. If, a couple examples, two individuals are standing there, they have the camera on, this is going on YouTube, and they hear a knock in the woods. And they hear another knock. There's two Sasquatch. There's one over here, one over there. Well, how the hell do you know if that's a Sasquatch or not?
Right.
So
I agree.
let's do the same two guys. Okay. You got your camera on, you hear a knock, and you don't say nothing. You go, you're just listening. You hear another knock. You're just listening. You have it recorded. You got your recorder on? Yeah, we got it. Yeah, we'll look at it on spectrogram. I don't know. What did it sound like to you? It was kind of woody. Yeah, well, it kind of sounded like almost like it could be a mouth pop to me. You're discussing it. You're debating what it is that you heard. You're not saying it was anything.
Right.
So you got a quality individual, wildlife biologist, or somebody that might be able to, that might be coming into the subject and give it a shot. I would want him to see the two individuals that are debating and not claiming it is something versus the sensationalism of somebody being just like, this is going to be really good for YouTube. Like, there's two Sasquatch out in front of us right here. One knocked over there, one knocked over there. Yeah, I guess that's my point.
Yeah. And that's what happens. I talked about that earlier as well, is that it's all on your presentation, and what you really stand for. If you just are looking for the clicks and views, you want to get as many people there as possible. And the only way to do that is by sensationalizing it and bringing, making it seem more exciting than it is, because it can get to be the same thing over and over again, when you're doing videos out there in the woods, they all look the same after a while.
Yeah. I was creating one here the last couple of days. I got a couple of things that have been going on. I've been blasting off out of work and doing what I call a Hail Mary. I only have lunch time, but I'm up in the mountains already. So for my lunch break, I'm just going to beeline out into the woods and see if I can just get lucky and find a track. Just come across a old dried up creek and holy shit, there it is. And I came across this bedded area where something had been bedded down. Well, then, what was it? Friday night. I'm familiar with this 13th lake, and I know Peaked Mountain Pond's up in there. So I thought, it's nice weather out. I just, want to take like a 2-3 hours and walk up that trail and head up towards Peaked Mountain Pond. And I'm videoing a couple of things here and there, and I come across this beaver dam, and I got some nice footage of this beaver. I'll wait until you guys get to see the video on that. It's really cool. And, I'm trying to put it together with some slow-mo and everything. On my way back out, what was really interesting was in the daylight on my way in, I have no deer activity. It's dark on my way back out, and I've got deer all over the place coming down to the edge of the lake for whatever reason. I said maybe getting a drink of water or whatever be it. And they are not running away at all. They're 20 feet right in the woods. And as I'm walking up the trail, I says, let me see if I can get up here a little bit further so that I can see them, because they're just standing right over there. I was able to thermally film one. And then I put my white light on to hunt eye shine. And when I first saw the eye shine, it was very gold in color, and it was they were right out there. In my words in running the video, which I won't put in my video, but to be 100% honest, is, oh, we got eye shine. Oh, we got big effing eye shine, because they were spread right out like that far, and it was gold. So it caught my attention few steps forward a little bit further, and I've got the light right on it. Those eyes turn at a little bit different angle, and the color changes, and that will happen with eye shine. Just a little different angle, you get a little different color sometimes. It was a deer. I mean, it's a deer. I can see it right there. So when you're creating a video, you know, in the video, I wanted to add some music, and I was trying to think, how am I going to make this section of video where it's not sensationalizing, but it's still got good quality content worth watching. So what I had to do was just pretty much, okay, turn the volume down on every section so you can't hear me. Because I'm just jibber jabbering along, and I could have, if I wanted to, I could have taken out "It's a Deer," and I could have just left, hey, we got eye shine. Whoa, big effing eye shine, and then run the eye shine in slow mo, which I'm probably going to run the eye shine in slow mo either way, but it's a deer, right? So there's just it's all about how you go about it, and it's tough to make a video on your adventures out in the woods that is interesting and would hold people's attention, because like you said, Nikki, they all just become the same, same woods, same stuff, same thing all the time. It's not very often you come across something pretty interesting. And I'll tell you what I got to experience that night, which was really cool. Aside of the beaver way up in there, which is it's 9/10 of a mile down 13th Lake, and then it's 1.8 miles up into Peaked Mountain Pond. And I made it about 3/4 of the way up into Peaked Mountain Pond by the time it got pitch black, because I stood in the middle of this creek on a big rock overlooking this beaver dam, and I was just checking out the scene. I got some really cool B-roll and some pictures and stuff of that area, and then I see the little V in the water, and here comes a beaver. So I got to experience that for a while. On my way walking out right along 13th Lake, right after I got done dealing with them deer, I can hear this beaver gnawing on a piece of wood, and it sounded like he was 10 feet away from me right here on the edge of the lake. I walk up a little bit further, and he's just up a little bit further out on the water, this great big old bull beaver, and he's got a stick, and he's gnawing away at the bark, eating it. And I was able to zoom right in on him and see him sitting there. It's pretty cool.
And that's one thing too, going back to the question of sensationalism. If we get 100 people to go out there and they see that eye shine, and 99 of them run, but the one and scream Bigfoot through the woods, but there's that one person that says, "What is that?" and goes after it and goes towards it to learn.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that. That's what I'm talking about, being fine with. The other 99, for the most part, they won't be around in a week or two. But the person that goes after and wants to know what that is, they may hang around, and that's the kind of people I want out in the woods.
Yeah.
So I'm willing, if it takes 100 people just to get one, if it takes 1,000 people just to get two, that doesn't bother me.
It's like putting an ad in the paper for drywallers. I have to deal with boneheads before I find one guy that's half good enough to work for me.
Yeah.
I mean, we was in Upper New York, and I got the thermal out, and I look over, and there's this thing there, and it looks just like a Sasquatch balled up watching me. And rather than going screaming through the woods, I found it, it's Bigfoot. I did the growl of courage, and I went charging right at it, and it didn't move. It ended up being a giant rock, and I'm happy with it. If I can, a couple people do that, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
definitely will have some good footage if you're rolling all that equipment, Bill, and you get over there about 5 foot away and that damn thing stands up straight.
Oh yeah, if it stands up and takes off, then that's you got something.
Yeah, oh yeah, man. There'd be no sensationalizing there, except for your
No.
language or you shitting your pants, pissing yourself.
I got some prime footage at some point to play here, and of a couple knuckleheads walking around in New York getting attacked by a flying squirrel.
Oh,
Yeah, that's right. That friggin' squirrel. He probably had rabies.
Scary.
I know it's off topic, but I tell you what, that was the scariest damn moment because all I felt was the wind. I just felt like this. It was like somebody just stood behind you and went,
yeah,
right down your neck.
Yeah, and then feel fur on the back of my neck from that thing hitting my head. I mean,
it's
that could have been a Sasquatch just grabbing me by the neck and just giving me a scare. Holy shit!
My first thought process did not actually go to Bigfoot.
No, me either.
It actually went to a barn owl. We just got freaking attacked by a barn owl.
Nothing
and here
for me. All I just knew is that fur hit the back of my neck.
But at the same time too, as soon as I thought about we're getting attacked by a barn owl, I thought, oh, we're dead.
Right on. At least going to be hurting.
We're dead. I mean,
that was something else. Like, I wonder if when it just before it hit, if it made a turn or something, like a real sharp turn. Because you're right, like the wind
was crazy.
That was something else. Oh my God, you people should. I wish so badly that there was a camera back there on both of us because we both went down like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
It's just going to be a whole series of bleep, 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 bleep.
Yeah. That damn squirrel hit that branch because I remember when I went down, I looked right over and I saw it land right into that maple branch over there, and it was all messed up. Like it was shaking all around, like it just got half knocked out, and then it landed on the ground. And when it hit the ground, then it ran away like a squirrel. And while it was in the branch, I didn't know what the hell that thing was. It was all up.
It hit you in the head, didn't it?
Yeah, it basically hit all. It just come right down from behind here, and it hit my pack. And I don't know if it was the tail that come across my neck, but I mean, I felt the fur come right across the back of my neck.
And you got to keep in mind, these flying squirrels aren't very big. They're maybe this big. Body wise, the tail.
Squirrel. That's what it looked like to me.
Yeah, as much air as that thing moved, you would have sworn there was, something 7 foot tall breathing down the back of your neck in a second.
I can see why you thought it was an owl, and I've given thought to how much wind that thing put off. That's why I say it must have been coming down, and it tried to swoop, to either land or I don't know what it did. But you're right.
Well, I know that when you're out there at night, owls bombard you, and you never hear them. Yeah, the only way I found out was having the IR light up on top of my head, and I turned that night in Florida. No, I didn't really turn. I was walking forward, but as I turned, all I saw was an eyeball looking back at me, and here it's an owl no more than a foot or two away from my face.
Wow!
And then it happened again later on that night. I caught that also on film. One came down, swooped my face.
Did you have any type of microphone, a wind screen like Matt Larson had on his helmet?
No, I didn't have.
Nothing.
We didn't take the helmet. We didn't wear the helmet that night, but I had that 270 microphone, so it might have caught the wind movement.
Well, I was thinking maybe that it thought that was an animal. I mean, that's pretty brazen for an owl to come that close to a human to grab, your.
Oh, they do it all the time.
Whatever, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember. I had some strange audio that I recorded, and I sent it off to Jonathan. And I had just found it, and I'd called Jonathan while I was in the back of the vehicle on a trip to Vicksburg. And I'm like, dude, look at this, check this out, see what you find, because it was a really strange night. Because as we was walking out of the woods, we come walking out of the woods, and Mrs. T and I in the dark, and I look up and I just see this giant triangle, for lack of a better description, and it's low and it goes right over our heads. I'm like, what in the hell was that? You know, and I didn't catch it on film or nothing. But, you know, after all these experiences, I've come to realize that was a freaking owl. And anytime you're out there in the woods, you know, like I said, that eye was so close. Freaking owls bombard you all the time.
I got to get a thermal attachment for my rear facing GoPro so I can run that at night, or just get a rear facing thermal. I think that would be very productive if you are in Sasquatch country, seeing how it's looking like what bit of evidence, or at least, you know, subjective evidence there is out there. It seems as if that, you know,
if you decide to wear a rear facing camera, make sure that you keep it as close to the center line of your head as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I had one pointed back one night above my right ear, and I went back to watch the footage, and I got sick from watching it. Just from the movement. I got, you know, motion sickness from watching a video.
Well, the newer GoPros have the self-leveling, but what I like is Scott Carpenter, like him or love him, whatever. I don't either, but I don't like or love is what I meant. Well, I like the guy. He was a real good guy. He's a good fella from what I gathered. But either way, he had a shoulder mounted rear facing camera that I do believe was on a mini little gimbal. So his footage was stabilized. And that's what I'm thinking about getting, because the GoPro, one, they chew up battery like nobody's tomorrow. And two, I'm not overly fond of the footage off of GoPro. I mean, it gets what you need. I mean, it gets everything that's out there, but the wide angle, I'm just not overly fond of it. I'd rather get a good quality camera with a good lens so that I could set it the way that I want it per the situation I'm in, whether I'm in dense forest or whether I'm in wide open area trying to shoot a long shot and trying to stay focused on a long shot, or if I'm right up in tight and some thick stuff. But I want to get that shoulder mount with a mini gimbal with a good camera for rear facing. That would be cool. Then you could put the thermal on that mount, and I think that would I know it works with deer too, because out in the Cascades, and I mean, Cascades, that's one of 100 times in my life where I've been around where there's a doe and a fawn or whatever be it, and you know, they know, you know, that they're there or whatever, and they just stand there. But when you turn your back to them and you start to walk away, they just seem to feel as if, now you're not looking at me, now I can cross over, and they'll take right off and go on and do their thing. In the Cascades, I had walked down to this patch of evergreen trees, and as I was walking along, I looked over, and 10 feet from me, there's this deer staring right at me. I was like, hey, I go, what's going on? And I was like, well, this thing's obviously on that runway and wanted to cross here, so I didn't want to disturb it. So I turned around and went about 10 steps back the way I came. I honestly wanted to film this. So what I wanted the deer to do was, I'll go back like 10, 15 feet, get out of your way, and then you'll come out onto the trail and I'll be able to get a nice picture of you. By the time I got 10 foot down that thing, I could not even hear it. And it went right across the trail and over into the woods on the other side. I never even heard that thing move through the rest of the way it went. So I think when you put your back to animals, in my opinion, and you're not staring right at them, that's their green light to make their move. And so if Sasquatch is, has instincts that are relatively the same, it would make sense that if you have that 1 in a million chance where you're within the proximity of filming said Sasquatch and you're walking through the area, everything at 180, 140 in front of you, 140 degrees in front of you, your periphery, the area that you can see and you're filming and doing what you're doing out here is probably going to remain low to the ground and hidden most of the time. And then once you walk by and you're still focused on what's going on out here in front of you, I think they would be more apt to take a peek and make that move behind you.
Possibly.
Possibly.
But really, with the equipment, you can talk. You can talk for hours. I've gotten, and I agree with you. I don't think there is a Bigfooter out there who doesn't curse GoPro every chance they get. Usually, I have a GoPro rant that lasts for about 5 to 10 minutes on every outing, either the battery or disconnect or whatever. So no, I agree.
I think they're great backup. Like if I've always thought about getting the chest mount to have in the front of me, just in case I make an error and I don't have something running. If I could always like run it on 1080p so it isn't chewing up your SD card, at least you have something, something rolling.
Nikki, how much into rumor do you want to go? Because we can go into a lot of depth there.
I know. Well, we got 20 minutes. We'll go 20 minutes. And
you guys excuse me for just 1 minute. It's been quite some time. I'm gonna go grab a shot glass, and I have this fine bottle of Crown Royal, and I'm gonna have a shot just to relax my old bones. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I mean, equipment wise, I had no bones about it. I am not happy with GoPro. I'm not happy with 1080p. There's got to be something better out there that, better.
Yeah.
And I'm not, one of the things that, for people who don't know, the field of view on a thermal is so much smaller than a GoPro's. So when you attach a GoPro up with a rig to a thermal, and then you try to find the footage that the thermal's showing you in the GoPro, that can be a nightmare. And tracking it down exactly where it's at, because like the FOC of the field of view of a thermal is 4:3, 2x. It's maybe if you took the GoPro footage and you cut it into eighths, it's one of those eighths. And finding out where that thermal is pointing at in those eighths can be quite a challenge. So I think the best thing that you can do is if you can get, I have another camera called a Tactic Cam. It's a lipstick camera. If you can, before you go out, line your thermal up with that camera, and you have matching FOVs, and you have some way to run in 4K, 1080p is not going to cut it. So when you have to dig into a video or have to dig into a snapshot, and you're in 1080p, you're going to find yourself just frustrated. You could have the video of a lifetime. You could have the next RPG, but because you're on 1080p, you don't have it.
Yeah.
So,
well,
to 1080p.
What's that?
You don't get to record a whole lot. I mean,
no, if you're in 4K, you're not gonna. You either have to have a monster memory card in there and swap them out every now and then, and you have to have an external battery, which is how I used to run with that external battery source. And I guess I still run external now too. At nighttime, it doesn't matter. Nighttime, drop down to 1080p or 720. It does, you're not gonna dig into the dark and get on it with any camera unless it's a true passive IR and get any reach out and touch distance. You want to, be honest with you, you want to specialize your camera at night, and you want a different specialized camera during the day.
Mhm.
And I've never found anything I'm happy with. So, but GoPros are relatively cheap. They're in hand, so you work with the tools that you can afford,
Yeah.
and you make the best out of them. Just know that you're better off if you're out there looking, running 4K with an external battery. Don't bother swapping out batteries all the time. You change them out every 15, 20 minutes. Get a battery pack and run them
I
that way.
lost both. I lost one of my batteries. I cannot find it. I don't know where it is. So I have one battery right now.
And that's the other scary part, because them lithium batteries that they use in the GoPros, like when we was out in the Cascades, I was scared to death. I couldn't find one of the batteries, and we were camped out in the tree farm, and that tree farm was just all brittle grass and everything. If something came along and cracked that lithium battery, it'd be an instant fire. And even if it's all drained out, it's still an air. It's a lithium's reaction with air. It'd start that whole place on fire.
Oh, really?
wow.
So you got to know your equipment. You got to know with your batteries. And like I said, if you go to an external, you decrease the chances of losing a battery while changing them out or something like that. Your phone battery. If you're out there in a survival situation, in the old phones, you used to be able to change out the battery.
Right.
Yeah.
You would just put that in some sticks, pierce it with a knife, and it would instantaneously start a fire for you.
Now, an out of control fire, like a blowtorch, like gasoline, or like what is the extremity of that fire?
Well, there's a video out there of a gentleman whose battery ruptured in his phone in his pocket while he walked into a gas station, and it burned his pants off.
Oh, damn.
So it's hot enough to where in cotton it's hot enough to where it burned up his jeans, it burnt him, and so forth. So you really got to watch it with them with lithium batteries. And I forget what the reaction temperature is, but it's up there, and you can definitely start any small fire with at least one battery. You can only do it once. So
you remember when what was it? Israel. The intelligence agency they had, or whoever was responsible. You remember the pager attack they had done? Was there lithium in those pagers, like lithium batteries in the pagers?
probably. Who knows? I'm not going to speculate on that. That's a good way of getting in trouble. That's
batteries.
Well, I was just wondering if there was any footage of them getting, getting.
You kind of got to watch it. There's a few words that'll get everybody. You'll wake up with a bunch of people knocking at your door. If you see it on the internet, that leads to one word to dust. So no, thank you. I don't want to do that.
Come on over to my house, Mossad agent.
No, I don't want to talk about that either. No, I don't want anything to do with it.
I'm a Mossad agent.
And the bad part is I'm not even home. Poor Deb will be like, where are all these people in the front yard?
Oh, lithium, fire, Mossad agent. Oh, shit. We're flagged.
But if you're talking about survival, that's okay. So, survival situations you can get away with.
Yeah.
But don't talk about the other stuff. For the love of God, don't say anything about that.
Right on. That was just
so in the whole talking about all of this, why is Bigfoot still unproven in 2025? Is evidence getting better or worse?
Evidence is getting better, and we need a body, because without the body, you don't have the foundation. Once you have the body, then you can study the anatomy. Science will come in full bore, and then all of the supporting evidence will then either become a factor or it will be written off as non-Bigfoot related.
Yeah, I don't know if the body part of it, that seems to be quintessential. Because if you go to, let's go to technicalities. You know, when you say Bigfoot researcher, that saying that term implies that the creature is cataloged, and so, and then a lot of people don't get that. You're not a researcher for a creature that's not cataloged. You can't be. You can be an enthusiast. You can be something else.
Yeah.
But you know, if the creature's not cataloged and you're still in a state of discovery, which, you know, for all the hypothesis talk and all that, you're still in a state of discovery. We're still trying,
but you
for
can be
lack
a
of a better word,
researcher
discover it.
You can
And
be a researcher of like Dr. Meldrum, foot morphology, anthropology, in that avenue where he specializes. You could be a researcher in
because everything's got a foot.
analysis. You could be a researcher in hair analysis, scat analysis, microbiology, wildlife biology would cover more of a broader spectrum. So, I mean, you could, in my opinion, you could still be a researcher interested in the subject, willing to take a look.
You get around it by saying you're a wildlife researcher. Then you're good. You're golden. You can get around it by a wildlife researcher.
That's what I claim in my Tree Breaks Decoded. I am an amateur wildlife researcher because I'm not just looking for Bigfoot. Bigfoot's out part of the environment. If so, I would like to find trace evidence of said Sasquatch. But I'm also interested in all aspects of the wild.
Yeah.
When I come across a beaver, I'm studying beaver. When I come across studying bear.
I would describe myself as starting off as a wildlife. Oh crap! What's the proper terminology? I just had it in my head. Wildlife. Oh, you're studying the life cycles. Dang nabbit. Behaviorist. Wildlife behaviorist is because that's what actually where I came from, was studying behavior through, you know, hunting and really studying the phases of the life cycle and different animals and everything else, from fish to whatnot. So I would call myself a wildlife researcher and a, you know,
more
amateur animal behaviorist.
Yeah. No, that is a good avenue right there. That's a good branch of the whole system for sure.
Right.
So that there.
We're coming to the end of the show here, and I needed to plug Tate Hieronymus is having an online mini Bigfoot conference on October 19th at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. And he's going to be having Ron Reed, Emily Fleer, Steve Calls,
looking good.
And Ryan Golombetsky is going to be the master of ceremonies. And it's going to be celebrating the 58th anniversary of the Patterson-Gimlin film.
Very good.
So everybody mark that off on your calendar, October 19th. It's a Sunday. And that's where I'll be there.
Fantastic.
Doing a little chit chat about the P&G and our takes on it. We each have a little presentation we're going to be doing. So highly recommend y'all come down, and it'll be on Tate's channel. So you'll start seeing this advertisement going out all over the place. So
very cool.
Be there.
Where is this going to be again? I can't.
On Tate Hieronymus's channel.
Oh, on a channel. So it's not an actual physical site where this is going to happen outside.
Yeah, So it's all going to be online, and it's going to be, looks like it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be good.
Mark your calendars again.
Cool.
That was my last slide. Yeah, that was my last slide. Just a reminder. Oh, I wanted to real quick while I have people here. I wanted to thank Maisie Jo Williams, who gave me this beautiful little picture at the Blue Ridge Mountain Fest, Bigfoot Fest in Virginia when I went at the end of September. And she made me this cute little Bigfoot there.
That
And
is
it's, if you don't hurt my forest, I won't hurt you. Just a little doll. And I told her I was going to show everybody that. I showed it on Tuesday. On Tuesday night, I had a little bit of a trivia night thing. And that was a lot of fun. But this is my main show here. So I needed to make sure and show that for her and her family. For those who, this is what I was talking about. I went to Virginia and did my whole speaking thing. It was a lot of fun. Met up with Daniel Benoit, had a little section on his table there for my stuff.
That's awesome, Nikki.
Got to meet a lot of nice, wonderful people.
Yeah.
Melissa Adair. It rained on us like crazy. We all had wet heads. It was so crazy.
That sounds familiar.
It was fun. We had a nice big room set up for us. And
looks like a good showing as well.
Yeah. I had the big one because I went on second. They had me on to go on fourth, but things got changed around. And I ended up going in the second slot. So that was when the big rain hit and everybody came in.
You got the big crowd.
Yeah, I had a captive audience at the time. So it was really fun. We had a little Yeti and a Bigfoot there. And that's Chet Nichols. He was the MC for it. I got set up in a real nice condo over there. So that's where we were hanging out every night. There's everybody. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, this is for me, this is what it was all about, is the fellowship when you get to meet the people you've been doing podcasts with and have that interaction. And we're all a bunch of nerds. We had a great time,
Yeah.
So it was fun.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Jen, thank you. She put the Tate's channel there in the chat. So want to grab it now, go and subscribe so you'll get notification when he's got things dropping.
One of these days I'll be able to, I thought about that the last time I saw Tate on. I was like, jeepers creepers, like every single time you're having like an open mic night and Tate's on, I think the world of Tate. I love the stuff that he's done, and I keep thinking to myself, I'm like, I never have the opportunity on my end to get on when Tate's on and shoot the shit with him, and enjoying the show. And like you had said, he might pop in tonight, but I'm looking forward to that. To get out there and hang out with those guys for a few days. I would love to definitely hang out with them.
At some point, we definitely need Brent.
Yeah.
Actually, at some point, John, Brent, and Tristan and I need to get together. So
absolutely.
So we got some material to talk about. So
and actually, I will let you know, Trackway, that Brent had brought that up. I cannot remember, but yes, he did speak of that. He has seen the messages and it's been on his mind. It's just he's had a lot going on.
I know, we all do right now.
He's gonna, he wants to double back on that and look into it at some point. So that'll be good. I was
Cool.
almost half tempted to jump on a plane. I was going to get a hold of you and be just like, you know what? I know
You and me both.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Well, we're going to bring this show to an end, gentlemen. Thank you for coming on, and nice New York Bigfoot Conference.
Yeah, I had to buy it. I paid way too much. I'm not even going to tell anybody what I paid for that damn thing, but it was auctioned off.
Oh,
And, but it's got the signatures of everybody there, and it's the first annual New York Bigfoot Conference. So they were auctioning off the signs that they had, which I thought was a really wise move. And yes, I would have took one of the bigger signs, but it takes up such a big area. And when they held that up there, I was like, that's perfect. A little bit, you know.
Yeah.
But I had to fight for it, so I paid dearly.
Paid for it. Well, it's cool. It's definitely cool.
I go paint another house just to pay for that damn thing.
I got all kinds of stuff too that I paid for. From Melissa Adair's table, I bought me a Christmas stocking.
Oh, isn't that something? That's cute. Sweet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I had to get me something from her. So
Cool.
Okay, you guys, thanks for coming. And don't forget about Squatch D TV's on and 7:00. So it's right around the corner. So you guys can go grab you a drink and sit back down and get ready for the next show. But again, thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. And gentlemen, I shall see you again soon, I'm sure. And see you all in the next chat. Good night, everybody. Thanks for coming out.